Nick Vieri is a pro bike mechanic and bike shop owner with over 20 years of experience. In today's episode, he's going to go through 13 more things that he hates.
SCHWALBE Marathon Plus tires. Nah, I get it.
Whoa. I ride them to work every day.
This is not a video about what you ride and what you like. It's a video about what I hate. SCHWALBE makes lovely tires, but the Marathon Plus is not them. Yes, they definitely have a space in the market because they're incredibly puncture resistant. They're fairly grippy, but if you love your teeth or your spine or comfort in general, they're not the tires for you because they're incredibly harsh and they're just, I mean, there's a few other brands that make really harsh tires. Pirelli Centratos, also fairly harsh, very puncture resistant. Gator skins. I get why people ride them, but well, I don't like them. I'd rather tubeless, seals my punctures.
I'd like to add a small note here. They are also very difficult to change.
But saying that, in their defense, you're not gonna have to change them for a very long time. Cannondale used to release a bike with a power meter on it. I think Power to Max made it, but get this, the power meter didn't work. You had to pay extra on top of the bike to activate the power meter. You got a code. That wasn't even all of it. You then had to pay even more if you wanted left-right balance or pedal smoothness. Come on, I mean, the power meter's already on the bike. Actually, that's just, I mean, at least wear a balaclava when selling the bike. You know, if you're not gonna activate the power meter, it's taking the piss.
Wait, how much was it to activate it?
We did one for a customer, I think it was 2015, and it was $500. The power meter's already on the bike, it's there. The product's there, it's literally charge you extra for the code. So if you don't use it, it's like they've given you the power meter, or you've bought the bike with it on. Imagine if one of the big group sets did that these days, Shimano, SRAM, Campag, power meter on the bike, but you have to pay to switch it on. It's already there. It's like living, I don't know, I'm lost for words. It's no secret that I'm a massive fan of SRAM, but only SRAM electronic. WheELSET, their mechanical group sets that are brought for the road is just a nightmare in my opinion. To explain it, you have to push the lever over quite far, like a double click to shift up, and then a small click to shift down. But when you get to the top of the cassette, you run out of gears and you think you've got more, and you try and push it again, it can't go any further, so you can't double tap it. You single tap it, and all of a sudden, thinking you're gonna get an easier gear, now you're getting a harder gear. If it was your first bike, people get used to it. But if you were riding Campag with thumb shifters or Shimano's mechanical group sets which shift really smoothly, and you then switch to double tap, it was just, where now, the electronic, that's beautiful. Canyons, extendable, contractable handlebars. The new AERO's got it on. There's probably a few other bikes, but they've made these handlebars which you can actually push in so they become more compact. And the whole idea of it is, I think, just so they can post the bikes to you easier. But it's just a stupid idea because you've got more places where your handlebars can crack and cause problems. The cable routing through this handlebar is an absolute nightmare. If you wanted your headset service, it's just gonna cost you a fortune because hoses need to be cut. It takes hours, it's a nightmare. And I just don't like them. We've actually, as a shop, decided we're not servicing them anymore. If you've got a Canyon, we need a headset service on those bars, ring the internet. All the BB30s. Now, back in the day, bottom brackets were all threaded. You got BSA, Italian thread, there's a few other ones, but BSA, English, another one, Italian thread, was the two most popular. Cannondale came out and invented BB30, which is press fit that you know nowadays. There's loads of different versions. But the problem is it didn't stop there. There's BB30, BB30 right, BB30A, BB73, BB386, BB86, BB92. It's just, why? I get that they want to run bigger axles than the standardized 24mm that Shimano is running and bigger bearings. And then get this, Cannondale has now, after doing millions of it, decided to go back to BSA. Why go backwards? You mean at least go T47. So threaded, bigger axles, bigger bearings, everything fits. Creaking bikes, nightmares for years. Customers coming in, my bike's creaking. Bottom bracket needs replacing or refitting, or it's not straight. It's just, and the big thing is, it was cheaper to make. That's why it happened. Not because it was any better, it's cheaper. Inner tube sizes, valve lengths, just the craziness of it. Continental, for example, still makes an inner tube, and other brands do, a 720 to 25, which means loads of people don't understand, so customers coming in, they don't even know what size they need. A 20 to 25 means they'll fit a 20mm wide tire up to 25mm wide tire. Who rides anything under 25? Why is there still a 20? Why don't they make a 23 to 28 instead? I think Specialized has done that, so good on them. I mean, it's needed, but just simplify inner tubes. Almost everybody goes 23, 25, 28, 30, 32, 35, 38, 40. Just pick a gap and then make a 23 to 28, a 28 to 35, a 35 to 42, instead of having everything overlap, all these strange sizes, all these lengths. Bike shops have to stock hundreds of inner tubes just to kind of hopefully have the right one they need for a customer. Customers don't know what they need. All the numbers are confusing because they use loads of different codes and things. It's just an absolute minefield. That's why we've stopped doing inner tubes. It's tubeless only now.
Definitely seeing inner tubes in your shop.
3T IONIC seat post uses a system called the Fidlock. I think James has talked about this before. It's just an absolute nightmare. It's got two, you'll have to put a photo up, two little ratchets goes in to set your saddle, but it's really counterintuitive. So if your saddle's pointing up or down, it's not just take one out and ratchet, it's take one back one and the other one forward two, or forward one and back two. It's just an absolute nightmare. James said it's impossible to level. It is possible, but it'll take you hours to get it done. If you take it out and it gets mixed up, it's just makes me even more upset because my favorite bike, the J-Gear titanium seat post, uses that. And on top of that, it creaks if it's not greased. But if you take it out, try and grease it, and you put it in the back perfectly in the right orientation again, start all over. Please just go away. Like, what's wrong with the traditional seat post? 2 bolts, it just works. Speaking of seat posts, bike frames that can only take 27.2 or smaller. I know 27.2 seat post is more comfortable because it's more flexy, but just get a bigger frame, shim it down if you want to put a 27.2. Anything below 30.9 generally can't take any decent dropper post. SRAM does a wireless one for 27.2, but the drop's really small. I need a drop post, so I like bigger frames. The bigger the drop, the better the seat post, in my opinion. When I'm talking about these distance, it's essentially the diameter of the seat post. They come in, generally speaking, 27.2, 30.9, 31.6. Some crazy brands like Cannondale, there's a 25.2, I think, and skinnier again, which is supposed to be more comfortable, but then means you can only buy their seat post or a few other brands like Thompson. Thompson makes seat posts for almost every size, which is quite impressive. MECH hangers, or derailleur hangers, depending on what you want to call it. That metal bit that connects your frame to your derailleur or your MECH. They serve an awesome purpose. They are there to brake instead of your MECH braking or your frame braking. So it's a really good thing. Back in the day, old bikes, it was just one continuous piece of snapped off. Luckily with steel, you could weld it back on, but obviously it's less than ideal. Why are there thousands and thousands of different models? Why do some companies make different ones for all their different bikes? Just standardize it, like SRAM's just done. UDH, Universal Derailleur Hanger, one design, all frame manufacturers can use it. It works really well. That's just a stupid idea. But obviously there's nothing we can do about it because the bike industry loves to have different standards and make life difficult for everybody, especially me. Shimano disc brake pad screws. When I say screws, flathead screw. It's got no place on a bike. Why do we not run Allen keys? Allen keys come in sizes, and it's easy to find which size. Different screwdrivers have different thicknesses and sizes. Now, on the Shimano ones, for some reason, they're incredibly soft. If you use the wrong screwdriver, like the standard Park Tool one, you'll just run the bolt, and then you can't get the screw out. And then there's a risk of you having to replace your caliper or split the caliper to get the bolt out or clamp it or drill it, which is all really bad ideas. We tried to look for a prop to show you guys. We've got a brand new Shimano Ultegra disc brake. Guess what? Shimano has fixed it. Allen keys, so thank you for that. But if you don't have one of the new ones with the Allen key bolts in, you've got a screwdriver, make sure you've got the right size screwdriver. This screwdriver here, I've bought specifically for the workshop, just for one job and one job only, to take out Shimano screws. As far as we know, the new 12-speed Shimano group sets use the Allen key bolt, but obviously the older GRX and 11-speed group sets also use the flat screw. I know for a fact you can switch them out, so you can get other bolts. So when you wear yours out, get new ones, get ones with Allen key heads, it's much safer. Time trial bike. Calipers. Not the disc one, the old room brake calipers. What a nightmare to work on. This is more of a mechanics problem, but just, they never worked really well. They're all proprietary to the different bikes. It's a nightmare to figure out if you've broken one that's come on your bike to find out what aftermarket one's gonna fit size-wise, bolting, mounting, loads of different things. Normal brakes, fit on the back of your bike over there and on the front of your bike over there. But on time trial bikes, for some reason, they've got a V-type style brake that goes behind there and generally underneath there. But then your chain set's in a problem, you can't align them, the cable comes through here, it's close to your cranks, sometimes you have to take the whole chain set off to adjust the brake. It's just a nightmare. The rubbing, you want to go fast on your bike because that's where you get a time trial bike, but the brakes are just slowing you down. And generally they don't actually, when you need them to slow you down, they don't slow you down at all either. So it's a bit of a catch-22. They even started doing this on aero road bikes to try and make it more flush. So luckily, thank God, disc brakes have come out and have stopped all of that nonsense. Open ball bearings in wheel sets. Now, Shimano's done it for years and years. I think this year's the first time where they've started doing sealed cartridge bearings in their wheels as well. From an engineering standpoint, it's faster. It does work really well, but from a practical bike shop and living in the northeast of England standpoint, they don't last. When they do wear out, your cones and your cups, you have to replace them. It's not a thing of just popping the bearing out. Sometimes some wheel sets, bin the wheel sets, get new ones, or buy new hubs and rebuild the wheel. Where with the sealed bearing, if that completely gets knocked, you can just knock it out, put a new one in. I think Campback recently has released a gravel wheel set with open ball bearings in, which is just wild. The servicing costs up here on that would be astronomical because you'd have to get them in every few months if you're riding the way we ride. OE wheels. What this means is wheels that come with your bike from the manufacturer. Let it be Giant, Specialized, Trek, Scott. Generally speaking, it's wheels that buy from a third company. You get Fulcrum is actually quite famous for it. There's loads of bikes that come out with Fulcrum wheels, but on the cheap ones, it's not actually a wheel set that Fulcrum sells in the range. So when your freer body on that wears out, or is damaged, you can almost never find out what part number it is, what you need to replace. I'm on loads of bike mechanic forums where people are always just posting a photo of a free up body saying, does anybody know what I can get? Make it easier for us. Companies like Salsa, whose bike manufacturer is really good, on their website, for every single bike they sell or model, frame set, every single bit of information is listed over there. What size bottom bracket it uses, what forks you can use on it, what's gonna fit, what length bolts you're gonna need for your brakes. Which is meant. And if every big manufacturer just started doing that, give us information, make it easier to fix a bike. I get that they want to push all the sales to their shops, but the problem is that sometimes they don't have the capacity, or they sell the bike online, like Specialized is doing now to everybody, and you don't live near a Specialized dealer. And then your local bike shop has to struggle trying to figure out how to fix your bike. Make it easier for everybody.
That concludes the list of things that Nick hates. If you hate any stuff, put it in the comment section down below and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this.